Yes, it is time to shoot.
Time to shoot. You can just go bloop. Can you beat me out?
Yes, I think. We're about to find out.
Because if you
I'll
can't,
tell you what.
you have to edit that out.
If the show starts right here, that means I couldn't edit out Krisha's potty mouth.
Mm-hmm.
If it started a few seconds ago and I bleeped it, that's what happened.
Yay, because like YouTube and Facebook, they actually like block cursing now.
Good. I mean, because, well, I mean, you have a choice. I think when you're uploading, I know when you're uploading, I can say this content is not made for kids,
Right,
or it is made for
explicit,
kids, or
yeah.
it should be restricted to people over 18. And then on the other side of it, if you're a mom, you can control ideally what that your kids can only see certain videos. Yeah.
Hi, I'm
Hi,
Krisha.
and I'm Frank, and this is
Sharps Ridge.
the Krisha and Frank Show at Sharps Ridge.
You can see the sunsphere. Sunsphere.
That's why we're here.
Sunsphere. So you can see the
Can you
sunsphere.
see it on the camera though? Because it's
I
kind
don't
of
think so.
behind the tree.
And it's kind of hazy.
It's kind of hazy.
Yeah.
But we can see it. So what really do we care? You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if I tap here, would it focus
Let's
on
see.
that? Let's see.
Look at that.
Ooh,
And the leaves are falling. Oh.
Well,
Look at
all
us.
right. So now you have to tap us again.
Hi.
So we decided to come up here and shoot a show.
Yeah.
Shoot the show.
Shoot the show. That's what I said earlier. We're shooting the show.
Shoot the show.
So I worked at WIMZ eons ago.
And I forgot. We're driving up here and we pass the radio station, the cluster of radio stations. And I worked there briefly for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about how I used to work there. And you're like, well, so did I. And I'm like,
It was 1998, 1999.
Okay.
I ran the board for overnights, so on weekends. So
this is before they would have a computer that would do that.
yeah, and we were using CD carts.
Yeah.
And
Which means that the CD is in a special case, so you don't have to take it out of the case. You can just slide the whole case
And you load it into a fancy
special
machine.
CD player that opens up a door in the case and
Yeah.
it plays the CD.
And I went in at 11:30 on Friday night.
Yeah.
And
you
I would work
didn't
till
come out.
I would work till 6 a.m. on Saturday morning, and then come in at 11:30 on Saturday night and work until 6 a.m. on Sunday morning.
Did you run the public affairs shows, or that would have started at 6?
That would have started. That started at 6, and yes, I ran the public affairs shows because when you are a 19-year-old running the board for overnights on a Friday and Saturday night, your jock that comes in
It's late
at 6 o'clock in the morning,
Always late.
hungover, smelled like vodka, and was always like calling me at 7 on his way and would get there at 9.
Oh, see, now I was gonna suspect that they would call you at 1 or 2 and ask you to give them a wake-up call.
And do you want to know that what's
Did that happen?
crazy?
Did it ever happen?
No, I
All
didn't
right.
wait. Do you want to know what's crazy though?
That's everything about this is crazy, but yes.
That person is now a very high up in that same cluster.
Huh. All right. Well, that narrows it down to, I think I know who. I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure. So, but I've never,
And
honestly.
I can't throw him or her under the bus because I'm trying to get a job.
Well, there's no under the busing. Like,
Yeah.
like what was that, 20 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
20 years ago. You're a teenager.
That's
Come on.
right.
Because I think we're around the same age.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, we're
All
around
right.
the same age. But I'd never come to this side of Sharps Ridge because I had been told not to.
Well, I also was told not to, but I did come here, and it cost me $1,000.
Did you get fined?
No.
For doing something
No.
on-
I was an idiot.
Frank.
I'm an idiot, and my wife, I'm pretty sure knows. Well, she certainly knows about the $1,000. That was not a secret. But
$1,000?
well, roughly,
Okay.
I was working at one of the radio stations. Probably I had to have been. It was at the time called Oldies 95.7.
Wow. Yeah.
It was not a good station. No, I mean, it was not.
Yeah.
I mean, because we played, and I remember I was writing in my little book, my memoirs, about each of the stations, minus one. And I wrote about this one. I said, the problem with that station is they played Judy in Disguise with Glasses like it was an actual Beatles song.
Oh.
They played it so often.
Wow. Okay.
So, and the program director, I guess, thought it was good, thought it sounded good. It did not. It was terrible.
Right.
But anyway, I'm working at that
Right,
station.
there's like a whole train.
It's a parade.
Of cars coming up here.
It was Ashley and Murphy in the Morning was the show. Okay, I was Murphy.
Murphy, right.
And so I would be coming up here, and I saw on the news before I left the house, or maybe more likely, I probably heard, because in those days you could hear Channel 6 on your FM radio. Right?
Yep.
You're what? I know you're looking over there, and I'm deliberately not.
I can't talk about it right now.
Is it someone you know?
Nope.
Okay.
But I know what's happening.
Oh, right. Yes. Well, then we'll get to that story about the pickle park in a moment. So anyway, I'm hearing that one of the news reporters is doing a live shot from I think right where we're standing. Somewhere right about here.
Right.
Somewhere in this
Which would
exact
make sense.
area. So I think, I'll go into work a little early, drive by, say hi to my friend from Channel 6. And I think it was Amelia Earhart.
No, she flew planes.
No, that is her real name. But on TV, she had to call herself Amelia Daniels because no one would believe
that her real name was
her
Amelia
actual
Earhart.
name was Amelia Earhart.
I mean, your parents did you a doozy there.
Yeah. Well, it's like Albert Einstein, who had to change his name to Albert Brooks to be a famous comedian.
Right.
So, you know,
Right.
what are you going to do?
Right.
So, right. And Steve Hitler, his original name.
Steve Martin. Martin Short. Martin Scorsese. Get out of here.
So I come up here. I say hello to the news crew. And now I've got to rush off to the radio station, which is just over there. You go out of the park and then up the next hill of the driveway, and it's very close. Well, do you remember when we passed coming up here, there were two cars parked on a little turn off?
Little side turn off parky spot?
Yeah, nobody was there that day. I missed the turn. I drove straight.
Oh, instead of curving to the right like the road does,
I drove straight.
Just drove into the bushes.
And the front wheels go off the edge of the road. Clunk! $1,000.
Was the gazebo there at the time?
I don't recall there being a gazebo.
Did you hit the gazebo?
No.
Okay.
It was the damage was to
the undercarriage. You hurt your undercarriage?
Well, mostly the fender. My car, my old 2000 Honda Civic, is a very low riding car.
Yes, it was.
Very low car.
That's why you hit your head on this one all the time. As we got in the car, he's like, ah.
So, yep. So anyway, I just grunked off the edge of the road, and then it back up, and it's like, and I drove out, limped off to work.
Yeah.
Worried, trying to forget about
$1,000 later.
Trying to play Judy in disguise with glasses and not get angry.
Oh, wow.
It's a terrible song.
Yeah.
And then I went home and took it to the body shop, and it was, not the deductible, between the deductible and all the things that, it was, it cost me $1,000. It might have cost more than that.
Okay.
Are the romantic couple leaving?
Yeah.
Both of them, or
leaving
just
in
the
one car.
All of Knoxville is right
too.
there.
Yeah.
So if they could see what happened up here on top of Sharps Ridge.
You would not want to.
Because it's hiding in the middle of plain sight.
What did you say? What do you call it?
When I moved to Knoxville, I was warned not to come here because it's a pickle park.
A pickle park.
So remember we've talked about Phil Williams. I just mentioned Ashley and Murphy. Well, before that, it was Phil and Murphy, and I worked with him on 100.3. Have you heard of it?
I have.
I worked there.
Yeah.
And it was the River, 100.3 The River, and it was Phil and Murphy. And Phil, I mean, he's a,
He's a crass kind of guy, but not in like a disgusting way.
But I owe him so much because he took me under his wing, and he loves everything about East Tennessee, and it's contagious. So if you want to say that I love East Tennessee, and obviously I do, I caught that from Phil. And during my first weeks here on the air, we would get in his car and we would drive down Chapman Highway to South Knoxville, and we would go to this Chinese buffet.
At Wong's Palace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he would show me the Bayou
Bayou
seafood.
Bay.
and he would show me where other radio stations were, and then we would go out west, and we would go up North Broadway. And one of the things he did is he took me here to show me where he used to work at IMZ.
Right.
And we came up here and he said, now look, this is a pickle park. And he wasn't passing judgment. I think he was testing to see if I would be, I'll be coming back here.
What is that?
Or if I would be repulsed. I don't even think he cared.
Right.
But he gave me fair warning that here it is, the most scenic point in Knoxville.
Yeah.
Where all the TV cameras all the TV stations rather,
have
in fact,
cameras. We're on the opposite side of WBIR's.
You know, they probably can
gigantic.
See us. I bet you Beth Haynes can see us right now.
Hi, Beth.
Wherever you are. Because they all have cameras mounted looking that way.
Right.
But you know what I mean? So right here at this most scenic spot is where people of both sexes and sometimes just the one come to have their illicitness.
And I think that like 80s, 90s, that was much more prevalent than it is now.
Okay.
Only because they have made, like, as I was telling you, there's a hiking trail up Sharps Ridge now. They've made it.
So maybe those two are just going to hike the trail, if you know what I mean.
And I mean, who cares? Who cares? I don't care what you do. I ain't judging. I ain't judging you at all.
No, I mean, they saw us and they still parked here.
Right. I mean,
you know.
Because at that point, they don't know us. We don't know them.
Exactly.
They don't care. We didn't get them on camera.
Camera's not pointed at them.
Hello. No. If this is your car. No, you do you.
That would be nasty. So anyway, there was some in the news. I remember there was some politician who was. And it's so funny to say a politician was caught with his pants down, but he was literally arrested with his pants down with another dude, even though his wife knew nothing about all of this.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there are signs as you're driving up here the entire way that area under police surveillance.
No cruising.
No cruising.
Which would be getting a UPS delivery.
Maybe UPS dude's gonna come eat his lunch up here. Like, let's not out him, right?
Oh, all right. Yeah, that's
He's
possible.
like, dang it.
Well, he also...
Although he may be delivering to WBIR TV.
And that's what it looks like, because he is parking in front of them. It's just, I didn't realize it would be so busy up here.
Well, it's now like a hikey area.
Ah, like Imes Nature Park?
Yeah.
Hikey.
Hikey. And the fall colors are gorgeous.
Aren't they? And
they're
going to only get better.
Okay, let's look again. Look at that.
Can I pinch the sun sphere?
Sunsphere.
I can go walking on the sun sphere.
You could go there.
You want to?
Let's do it.
Make you try to pronounce it?
I wish I could zip line down. Look at it. Oh. The wires, it'd be so fun to zip line down.
I want to mention one other thing.
I can zip line down to my house.
Megan said, "Stop telling people where you live."
Oh, find me.
Knoxville, city of Knoxville. That's where she lives.
Out there. I can zip
Have you
line
seen
1,000 miles.
any turkeys?
No. Have you seen any peacocks?
No, but I used to see turkeys.
Yeah.
When I worked over there, there were wild turkeys that would spend the day hiking up the hill.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think they hike. Yeah, they must have hiked up the hill. I think. Anyway, and then you would see them, right? But then what they would do is, when it came time, is they would jump off the hill and land in the upper branches of the tree.
It's night time.
And they would roost in the tree, and then in the daytime, they would kind of flop, like
turkeys are so lazy.
Well, but they would glide. They managed to somehow glide a little bit of ways, and they would work their way down. I think down the hill to get their food, and then spend the rest of the day hiking back up.
Interesting.
I think that's how it goes. Either that or it's the exact opposite.
I'm sure.
Where they would... But you would see them.
Well, I see them driving in Gatlinburg all the time.
Turkeys.
Wild turkeys. Man, they're everywhere. They look just like the one on the bottle.
Yeah. They're not like the Thanksgiving turkey.
No, they're not like the poof.
Yeah, the ones that,
they're skinny, mean-looking sons of...
Drop like wet bags of cement.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, WKRP in Cincinnati. The most iconic thing in the world.
Yeah.
Drop the turkeys.
You know what I forgot to do, Krisha, is check the schedule to see who's sponsoring today's episode.
Well, here's the thing. Do we need one today?
No, we could take a day off from it.
Okay.
We're the owners. We are the owners.
Yeah.
We own the show.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Come and get us.
I'm just checking.
Future us, it don't matter.
Yeah. All right.
Present us,
Now,
don't matter.
what was the next thing? Somebody else just eyeballed us really bad.
That was a family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they didn't really eyeball. They were smiley.
Oh, all right.
It's the thing that you do when you see a news crew, because like we've got a, we got a tripod. We look like goobers.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't look like news people.
We're talking
but-
into my iPhone, but it looks.
That's what news people do.
I guess so. Yeah.
But we got a tripod. So, but it's the same thing that everybody does. And so, if you don't know that this is what you look like when you drive past a news crew, this is what you look like. Ready?
All right. I'll be here talking about Sharp's Ridge and turkeys that floppity dippity doppity doo, and down they go, down the hill and up the hill and down the.
Because I know that's what I look like. I'm like, what are they doing? Is that an RV fire? I don't know. Huh?
That's probably what they saw. They probably saw Krisha the wild turkey. Gonna fly down the hill. That's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Do you need a I dare not. I don't even want to do anything to throw off your balance.
You're good.
Yeah. You're totally in frame, too. You did a good job. There she is.
You didn't think you'd be able to do it.
I still don't.
High five.
Hey, year you were born.
Added to the dictionary.
Can you even see our heads?
Yeah.
We can see the big gold satellite dishes behind us.
Yeah. I want to climb this tower. It's insanely high.
Do you know what happens when you have to go to the bathroom when you're up there?
I guess you just go.
Yeah. I learned that when I was working at WAVA. We had tower climbers. They were up there putting a new antenna on. We had gotten a new antenna bays to be more powerful.
Yeah.
And these guys are up there, and someone, the engineer, Chip, I think it was Chip or Chip or Nick, one of those engineers, told me that they just let loose from up there, and by the time it gets down to us in the parking lot of the radio station, it's just a mist. So I was disgusted by this because I saw myself as one of the persons getting peed on.
Misted upon.
And then I'm working with Don and Mike, and their immediate reaction was, "Oh man, I would love to go up there and pee on people." So
of course.
I realized right at that moment that there's different types of people. There's the
peers and the peons.
High five. So the reason we looked up high five?
Because Merriam-Webster has part of their website called Time Traveler.
Yeah.
So you can look up and see what words were added to the dictionary the year you were born. What was added to the dictionary the year you were born?
No, there was chocoholic.
Uh-huh.
There was fettuccine Alfredo.
Nice. What else? Bitmap was mine.
Bitmap was yours. I had a few things that were technical, like
Surprising.
non-computerized.
Right.
Because that was the era with things you actually realized, some things are still non-computerized. But you had a lot more computer lingo in your year, of course.
I did. You had Bitstream.
I did?
Yeah, Bitstream.
Oh, okay.
And
'Cause
Black Ice.
Black Ice. You had Yuppie.
Yuppie. You had Black Friday.
Black Friday.
And Fiber Optic.
Wow. All right. So it's a little more advanced than I thought.
Yeah, you're not that old.
Well, I looked up. You know how I'm really fascinated by Regis.
Uh-huh.
And I wish I had watched more of Regis. I didn't, because I always was at work when Regis was on.
Yeah.
But I liked the way Regis didn't hit his stride in his career until he was relatively close in age to what I am now.
Oh, yeah.
He had multiple jobs as the sidekick, he had all these different failed shows. Mm-hmm. And I can relate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he finally pairs up with Kathy Lee and Gold.
Bingo bango.
And I looked up the age difference between Regis and Kathy Lee, and between Regis and Kelly.
Uh-huh.
And would you guess, are you and I closer in age than Regis and Kelly, or Regis and Kathy Lee, or...
I feel like we're more in the Regis and Kathy Lee than we are in the Regis and Kelly.
Yeah, Regis and Kelly...
There was a...
If I was Regis and I was partnered with Kelly, she would be like 20 or 21.
Okay, so like your last pairing.
Yeah, when I was doing the show in Pigeon Forge.
That's a pretty big gap.
Yeah,
That's
but
a huge gap.
I think Kathy Lee, the gap between Regis and Kathy Lee is still greater than the gap between Krisha and Frank.
Oh, okay.
But not, but it's
Right.
because there's still a pretty good age difference there. I think Regis was born in 31 and Kathy
Wow.
Lee was born in like 53, so that's a good
Like 20
22-year age gap.
We're like 20.
Oh,
19. I got in trouble the other day at Sweet Benny Adams Theater. We were talking about selling vintage posters, and I called them vintage posters.
Because they're vintage posters, because that's what they are.
They're vintage posters made and created in 1980.
Okay.
And someone was like, "Oh, that's not very vintage." I was like, "It's 40 years old."
Yeah, yeah. So
I'm vintage. I'm 40 and a half.
The theater, Sweet Fanny, opened in
1978.
So 2 years after the theater opened, they created posters which were intended not to be vintage at the time.
Correct.
They were intended to be brand new.
And as they're cleaning things out, as the theater is closing, they found a huge stash of 1980 posters. Like, to me, 1980 is vintage.
There's no doubt. Look at think of any other thing. Music.
40 years old?
Yeah, I mean, think of the songs from 1980. Can you name any?
Not off the top of my head.
If you give me a minute, I probably could.
I can look up the #1 song.
That's from when you were born?
Yeah.
I wonder if I could guess it. Let's see.
March 3rd, 1980.
Give me a second. I'm going to try to at least get us in the ballpark. Because around about that time, it was a terrible era in top 40 music. No, I mean, it was what they call the doldrums. You had just come off a disco. Guy Zapolian, the music consultant and the radio consultant, has these awesome articles. If you want to Google this, you'll be fascinated, because roughly every 10 years there's a doldrum.
I don't think you're going to get this.
So we had come off of disco, and you had songs like Lady by Kenny Rogers and these other this kind of crossover country songs had swept in. So Dolly had a hit, Kenny Rogers had a hit, Juice Newton had a hit. So you had a lot of that. You also Lionel Richie had broken from the Commodores and was starting to do solo stuff, and all his songs sounded like Kenny Rogers' Lady, which Lionel Richie wrote.
Right.
So you had songs like Hello and Endless Love, the duet with Diana Ross. But you also had the beginning of pop new wave. So you had Blondie, Call Me, which would be way up there. Queen.
That was a month after I was born.
Queen, Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
Bingo. That was the #1 song the week that I was born.
Come on.
Look at you. It was
Queen. What I had to do?
What?
Is I had to, as I'm talking this out, realize, okay, this is what I knew about radio. I learned all that in a book. What was I actually hearing? Where was I in 1980? What song did I turn up when it came on?
Right.
And it was Blondie and Queen.
Yeah, so it was Michael Jackson Rock With You in the beginning of 1980. Actually, we went from
That's the Off the Wall album?
Escape Pina Colada.
Oh, I hate that song so much.
That was when the clock ticked over. That was the #1 song in January. Then Michael Jackson Rock With You. Do That To Me One More Time, Captain and Tennille.
That was
Crazy
their last...
Little Thing Called Love. Then Pink Floyd, Another Brick in the Wall.
Yep.
Blondie, Call Me. And right after Blondie, Call Me, Funky Town.
I want to give a shout out to my friend Sandy Weaver.
Ooh. If
you are watching this, Sandy Weaver, and I'm going to send you the link, so you have to, because this era you're talking about is when I moved to Northern Virginia and Washington D.C. and discovered Sandy Weaver doing the top 5 at 10. Was it top something at 10? Let's say top 5 at 10 on Q107, and she has just the most marvelous voice. She does voiceover to this day. I love Sandy Weaver's voice. So here I am, a young, what's our age difference? 19 year old person hearing this beautiful voice on the air and thinking, oh man, and wanting to get into radio. So I'm listening super closely and attentively to every other great DJ.
There weren't a lot of women in this area on air when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
It was not even Delilah.
Yeah, she was not a thing yet.
No.
Then. So yeah, back then maybe Ashley Adams might have been on. No, probably not.
I don't know. I just remember listening to CP and Walker on U102.
All right. A guy texted me this morning. He said, "Hey, I just drove past the old U102 studios."
Yeah. Kingston Pike, over by where Books A Million.
This was a sewing place now, next to the Rush, now Gold's Gym.
It's the first radio station I ever walked in my life. I was 14 years old. Yep.
And the story ends there?
Yep.
Okay, because Mm-hmm.
It was they used to do a summer program at the Andrew Johnson building where you could learn radio and television in the top floor of the Andrew Johnson
Which
building.
is downtown Knoxville.
Mm-hmm. It's where
Who
Knox
died?
County Schools
Who
was.
died there? Somebody.
Shoot fire. It used
give
to
me
be a
second.
hotel.
No, there's somebody huge, like Hank Williams.
Not the Big Bopper.
No, the Big Bopper died in Iowa.
Yeah.
I think it's Hank Williams
It might be
Sr.
Hank Williams Sr.
He either died in the hotel, the Andrew Johnson Hotel, and they loaded his dead body into a car, and then didn't say he was dead until hours later, or
I
he
think
was
you're right.
deathly ill. This two discrepancies, two versions of the story. He was deathly ill. They put him in the car at the Andrew Johnson Hotel, and instead of taking him to the hospital, tried to drive him up to Virginia,
And it didn't.
and he
Yeah.
died en route. Because there's a
think-
lot of people who died after leaving Knoxville. Like 5.
George Jones, his last concert was here,
Yeah,
and then he died shortly thereafter.
Rachmaninoff,
I can't leave Knoxville now.
the famous conductor, his last concert, composer, Rachmaninoff, conducted a show at Alumni Hall at UT, went back home to wherever he was, and then died a few months later, but still his last official concert was Knoxville. And no, wait, give me a second. Ricky, I have to think about it.
Nelson.
No, he played guitar for Ozzy Osbourne. It was
Oh.
Rhoads. I had to think about it. His sister. We knew his sister.
Oh, y'all. It's
We
just
didn't
never
know.
ending.
I know. Well, here's what happened.
My butt's starting to hurt.
All right.
Oh.
I think I'm stuck. How about that earthquake?
Nah.
So, Frank Jr. was in a Catholic school with this girl named Jenna D'Argencio. And
Jenna D'Argencio.
her mom, Kathy D'Argencio, is like you, kind of a wee person, kind of looks like she could be a celebrity. I think they opened up a wine business now. Well, it turns out that Mrs. Kathy D'Argencio is Kathy Rhoads, and she looks like her brother's twin.
Whoa.
In a weird way. Well, let's say they look like siblings. And Ricky Rhoads or Randy Rhoads?
Randy Rhoads.
Gosh, I'm so sorry.
I think it's Randy Rhoads.
Yeah, that sounds righter.
Yeah. Sounds righter.
That sounds righter. Randy Rhoads played with Ozzy Osbourne at the Civic Coliseum. They take the tour bus to Florida, and then they're farting around with like an ultralight plane the next day waiting for that night's show, and he crashes it and dies.
It's crazy.
Isn't it?
This crazy town.
All right, well, that's a lot of death.
That's a lot of death. I guess we should end there.
Well, it's, it's Halloween's over, so I
Yeah.
guess we missed that boat.
Well, but now look what's happening.
All right, well, thanks for watching the Krisha and Frank show. Thanks for listening
Yeah.
with all the extra background noise, because we're out here on location off the podcast porch. We're
Just farting around.
Sharps Ridge Memorial Park,
Yeah.
and keeping well behaved and keeping an eye on those who aren't.
Yeah.
We
I
see
ain't telling on nobody.
you. No, why would we?
Ain't none of my business.
That's right. All right. Anything else got to say before we wrap?
No, I think I'm good. I'm like,
No. All right.
no.
All right. Well, like us, share us, follow us, email us, krishaandfrank@gmail.com.
Send us some PayPal money. Get
That
us
would
out
be
of jail.
swell. That would be so good.
Walking up on people in their
Remember,
pumpkins.
I lost $1,000 up here, and I'm hoping to
did.
make it out here unscathed today.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
All right.
Bye.